Today's October 12th, 2025. Current Bitcoin price is $113,656.
Welcome to the BitBite podcast, your source for news and information about Bitcoin and the cryptocurrency space. This podcast is meant for educational and entertainment purposes only and is not financial advice.
Man, you know what song comes to mind right now?
Which one?
Rollercoaster
Rollercoaster?
from the Peppers.
Yep.
Rollercoaster
Of Pain? Oh, is that the lyrics? No, sorry.
Some people consider love to be pain, it kind of happens that way. Oh man. So you had messaged me earlier in the week after the shutdown
Monday,
was declared. Yeah, it was Monday. And it was just like, geez, oh Pete, like a government shutdown. Who would have thought it was good for Bitcoin?
No, it was great. I mean, I don't even remember what Bitcoin was when we went to bed, but we woke up and it was like over 120, well over 120, heading towards the all-time high when I texted you.
Yeah. Yeah. It was surreal. It was just like, oh my God, like Uptober, like, and that was the thing, like everybody had talked about like, well, Uptober, like I think Bitcoin out of the past 10 years, I think has had 9 green months in October. So October is typically a really good month for Bitcoin. And that's why it's always called Uptober. And yeah, like it was just like, wow, like maybe we are going to see like those rocket boosters boosting and like everything happening. Because if that momentum had continued, like, wow. But before we get into that, so where are we with our theoreticals now that we're kind of reset again here?
Okay, so last time price was at 109,863, and it's been almost a couple of weeks since we recorded, but we're just a little bit higher now at 113. So the prices went up. The first theoretical purchase back in October 2023, $3,000 could have got you 0.0885 Bitcoin, and I did a quick math check on that, and that was about basically $34,000 per Bitcoin back in October 2023.
Wow.
And I don't think we're ever seeing those prices again.
No, you'll never be able to get Bitcoin, light amount of Bitcoin for that money.
Yeah. So that $3,000 investment now would be worth $10,059. So made it to 5 digits again.
That's crazy.
Not too bad. And then the second theoretical purchase, not quite as good of a purchase, but right at the halving. Usually, historically, halvings, if you would buy right around the halving or sometimes shortly afterwards, that's when we get the big run up. But this cycle, we had a big run up before the halving. So, we haven't seen quite as much gain, but $1,000 it was April 2024. And that would have got you 0.01564 Bitcoin. And that $1,000 is now worth $1,778. So, I mean, it's still a 77% increase.
Yeah. Yeah. And just, you typically, and we'll go into that later. I'll bring that up later. Like we'll have to talk about that because we were talking about that before the show kind of got going. And I think we're going to have a little bit of a op-ed section where we're going to discuss, like, is this the top? Are we done? But we'll talk about that here in a second. So there was a lot of stuff that took place. Like you were talking about, or we were talking about how you messaged me about Bitcoin on Monday. We ended up going to 125,870, like new all-time high, right? And it looked like, we had a slight retracement at the time, but the retracement only brought it down to like 123. So that was a good retest. Everything was looking like primed, like it was going to run again. And so people were just like, there was so much excitement in the market. It was starting to feel like we were about to have that big moment where possibly we could have had a blow off top, right?
Yeah, the greed was picking up right then.
Yeah. Like I said, Uptober, it was a thing. We came in the doors crashing like Michael Saylor, I'm sure, was doing victory laps. Like he was as excited as can be. And then on what day was it? Was it Thursday? Friday?
It's Friday.
Friday, Trump had to open his mouth. And 100% tariff threat on China imports triggered everything to dip. And it wasn't just Bitcoin. Like markets tanked. Because everything during the shutdown, I even looked at some of my regular stock portfolio. And man, everything was just looking gravy. Like it was looking good.
Yeah.
Over 895 million in crypto liquidations, mostly long positions, were wiped out in hours. Excuse me. Despite all that, and I couldn't get the ETF numbers to pull up this morning. I wanted to pull that up and see. It looks like a lot of people were still buying into the dip of the ETF. Now, there were rumors, and we kind of talked about this before too, is that China, in response to what Trump had done, decided they were going to sell off their Bitcoin that they were holding in their treasury. And I'm talking about the Chinese government, not necessarily the people. But apparently that was a liquidation of about 20 billion in less than 24 hours. But it didn't, I don't know, man. I don't think it had quite the effect on the price that China was hoping.
I mean, the dip was pretty serious at different markets, like especially in the Asian one. What's that? Binance.
Yeah.
Didn't it drop even lower than like what we saw in America? Like they were seeing like 104.
Yeah.
Something crazy.
I saw a report of 102. I haven't been able to see it on any of the charts, but that doesn't mean it didn't happen. It could have been a temporary wick. Who knows? I mean, and people were probably like, people may have been buying it up like crazy at that point. It has just been up and down. Like I said, it's a roller coaster. I mean, considering we were at 102, now we're back at 113, and this has just been within what, 48 hours?
Yep.
I mean, talk about a volatility trade. Like there are people that if they could have timed that, I mean, and I personally, I'm one that I'm not smart enough or savvy enough to try and trade the market like that. I just buy and hold.
Yeah. No, that's the way to do it. I think if you trade Bitcoin, it's just so temperamental. You're going to lose your butt at one point, you know, and then you're going to hop off at the wrong spot. And when you try and get back on that train, it's like left the depot, you know, you're going to be getting in a whole lot less.
Yeah, no, exactly. And it's the funny thing about this too, is that even though like you kind of talked about this before we got going again too, is that this has wiped out the market again. Any of those leverage setups that were set to go long, all that stuff wiped out again. All those indicators are reset.
Yep. The RSI, I'd be kind of curious what that hit because it was starting to get a little bit greedy. And then now the fear of God was put into it on Friday. So
yeah. I don't know. Inflows apparently surged. Apparently BlackRock had put in almost $1 billion again within a single day. All those types of things were happening again. There's been so much happening in the macroeconomic space. One of the other things that we were looking for this last week was we were supposed to get job report numbers from the Bureau of Labor Statistics, right?
Yep. But government shutdown.
So we had to go to ADP.
Yep.
Or at least that's where the markets are pulling the numbers from right now. And they're showing 32,000 private sector jobs lost in September. And they're saying that's the worst jobs report based off of those numbers since March of 2023. Now, and just, I mean, to kind of put this into real story perspective, I'm not going to say exactly where my sister works, but her director that she's worked for years, she got called into the office on Thursday, and her director got fired from his position. He got let go as a reduction.
Really?
Yeah. And that was after they had already lost, I think they had lost three or four people over the previous 3 months in an effort to reduce costs. I will say she does work in the medical field, but it's like, wow. Like, I mean, there's a lot of impacts that are happening all around us all the time. August numbers in the previous month from August were revised down from a gain of 54,000 jobs to a loss of 3,000, showing deeper weaknesses. It's funny because we're seeing, everybody's talking about, well, Jerome Powell didn't want to reduce interest rates, all this stuff. But now with the jobs reports coming out significantly lower and revisions that have taken place, it looks like they have no choice, but they're going to have to continue to cut rates.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to have to continue to stimulate that economy. And I don't know how much of it is related to AI, how much of it's related to the government shutdown, how much of it's related to, there's so many different factors at play right now. Like everybody looks at the stock market and they're like, oh yeah, no, economy's doing great. No. And that just means the money printer's on.
Well, the money printers was kicked on pretty significantly, basically since 2008.
Yeah.
And then they were really ramped up in 2020 with COVID. I don't think we've really had a growing economy in I don't know how long, at least to me.
Yeah. No, I agree. And I think even when if you look at the stock market as a whole, really the only thing that's really spurring it on is like there's 7 companies that are just doing gangbusters.
Mm-hmm.
The rest of them are like, they're scraping by. I mean, I don't know. But it's saying basically, essentially hiring right now is ground to a virtual halt. Like there's just no hiring going on. Inflation right now, I'm looking at Trueflation right now. We're looking at 2.23%. One of the big discussions that we had going into this year was, what is tariffs going to do to the market? What's it going to do to inflation? It sounds like for the most part, tariffs have had a very minimal, and that's even from Jerome Powell. He's saying it's had a very minimal impact. They're saying maybe 0.5%. I think there's some reporters are saying that it's as high as like 1.8% impact. But that depends on the market segment that you're looking at.
Yeah. No, that's been kind of interesting. I mean, tariffs are kind of a one-time fee, so it's going to affect different markets and different, products. And it just seems kind of nebulous what the tariffs are going to be. Because I've been looking at ordering some kind of special equipment from Europe, and it's like, what tariffs are we looking at? And they're like, I don't know, we're thinking 25 to 35%.
Yeah.
And this stuff costs like almost $1 million. So it's like, I think we're going to hold on that.
Yeah.
Until that gets settled.
It's so weird. And, the Fed is about to meet again. They don't have the numbers from Bureau of Labor Statistics because they really need to use that kind of information to decide what they're going to do with the rate cut. And, they're flying blind basically because they don't have those numbers. I mean, they probably could summarize in some way or get some better information, but it looks like there's billions of dollars waiting to find out what's going to happen with that missing labor data. And even the Fed may end up relying on ADP to kind of figure out where they're going to go. So,
well,
go ahead.
I mean, it had something to point out is that they did that job revision here real recently on the Bureau of Labor Statistics on that the past year.
Yeah.
They revised down the job numbers by 1 million, which is pretty crazy.
Yeah, and we had seen that, like we had said, it wasn't even, maybe it was right around a year ago, maybe a little bit over, where they had done the same thing to Biden's administration. Mm-hmm. I know we talked about that on the podcast, where we're like, that's not a rounding error. Like, you are making a huge mistake there.
No, that looks like it's on purpose. It's not a mistake.
Yeah. So, I don't know. It's the big question, and I think we need to ask this, and I want your opinion on this. Did we just see the peak? Was this our blow off top?
I don't think so. Granted,
I
don't know this. I don't think so.
No, I don't believe so either. I think that if this had been localized only to a Bitcoin sell-off, I think that's potential. Like, that may have been a blow off top. It just didn't feel like the right time for the market. to actually blow off yet. I mean, because had we gone all the way through October and just seen Bitcoin climb and climb and climb and climb, maybe like beginning of November, we would have started to see like a sell-off start to happen. Then I would have been like, ooh, that could have been our end. But because how it happened, and I don't want to say it's necessarily a black swan event, but it's one of those things you don't know what the hell's going to come out of that guy's mouth, and how it's going to affect the price and how everybody else is going to, react in turn. One of the things that I thought was interesting too, and this is purely political. This isn't necessarily having to do with Bitcoin. Did you hear about Argentina?
Yes, they're taking a loan from America.
Yeah, well, they were, and I don't know if they actually took the loan from America. I heard they ended up going with China.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, but their market had tanked, right? Like, and this is after Javier Milei was trying to do all these different things to try and get their economy going again. And I guess apparently they made a mistake somewhere and they tanked it.
Yeah, no, and that's the thing. He had some decent numbers coming back. But the thing with Argentina is they were very socialist. Like their policies were so progressive, and their inflation rate before Javier, the only reason he got elected is I think they saw like over 100% inflation in Argentina before, in that election year. So, I mean, we complain about inflation on our end. We don't know what true hardship is like that.
Yeah, no, we still have not seen that. No, America did. It looks like America did loan them out the $20 billion, which again, that's kind of interesting because they don't want to. What is the shutdown amount that they're fighting over? 1.5 billion. Is that what it is?
Yeah, I think that's what it was.
And meanwhile, we just floated them 20 billion. I'm like, all right, you guys keep on messing with us. That's awesome. But yeah. So yeah, market top. Neither one of us think that we're there yet.
No. And, but the thing is we'll see what happens this week. I mean, I think, you think there could be some more pain come Monday?
I do. I think the only thing that kind of stopped some of the free fall was the fact that markets kind of shut down. Obviously, Bitcoin never closes, like it's always going 24/7. But I think because of that, I think we haven't seen the full extent of the pain. And I think China, there was supposed to be a meeting that was going to take place between Trump and China. And I think China is, I don't want to say they're being disrespectful, but they're being very dismissive to the United States. And I think in China's Xi Jinping's head, he's kind of basically, like we're already the power above the United States. Like we don't care what you need to do or whatever the case may be. And I don't think they're quite there yet. I think they're definitely in a race to become better than us in some ways, or the economic superpower. But I think by and large, it'll be a multipolar world. It's not going to be just, well, all of a sudden China's king dingling and the United States is nothing. We may be on a decline, but it's not going to be overnight like that.
Yeah.
Does that sound right? Like what I'm saying?
No, I think you're right. Well, I don't know. Our decline could happen overnight. When we really have a reckoning with the amount of debt we have, it's going to be very painful.
Yeah.
And we could see ourselves, slipping into a second world country almost overnight.
Yeah.
And as politically divided as we are, that could be very bad.
Oh, it'd be awful. Well, and I still think most of the political division that's taking place, I think a lot of it is due to the money printing. I know that sounds ridiculous. People would be like, what? How do you equate like the division? I think what's happening is that people are unhappy. They know that there's something wrong. Everything costs a lot more, and they just feel like somebody else has got to pay for it. And I think that's where the division is coming in.
No, it definitely, the fiat standard by Seyfried Ammous kind of explains a lot of the rot that happens with fiat currencies.
Mm-hmm.
And it's pretty expansive. And I think you are right. Just most people don't know what to diagnose it. And so everyone has their own idea on what's going to fix it.
Yeah.
But most people don't even know what the symptom or the cause of all this stuff is.
Right. Yeah. All they see is the symptoms. I think that's kind of what you're getting to on that, is that they don't understand the root cause. They see the symptom and they're like, well, this is how we fix it. But you're not taking care of the actual issue.
Yeah. And that issue is something that Bitcoin fixes. And that's why we really believe in it. That's why we've been doing a podcast. And I don't remember even how many episodes we're at now.
This will be 171.
171. So, I mean, we've been plugging away for a while.
Yeah. Yeah, we have. And I don't think we're done. I think, I don't know what Monday's going to bring. I think it's going to bring some pain again. But I think after that, maybe we'll start to see, and who knows, maybe China and Trump will come back with something and they'll say, oh yeah, we're not quite that angry with each other. And then the market will be like, hooray. And then it'll start to rebound. And then more than likely we'll see another interest rate cut announced by the Fed. But I've got to ask this to you too. I don't know if we'll ever see a really positive job number in the coming future, especially as AI continues to increase the usage, eliminating jobs. I don't see us being like, oh my God, look at all these jobs that we've added. Like, I think that's going to continue to slowly decline over the next, and maybe you'll have a couple months here or there, but I think the overall trend is going to be a decline in jobs.
I kind of agree with you. And AI is really just getting started. There's going to be whole industries wiped out of people doing specific jobs that are just not going to exist anymore, or at least it's going to be greatly reduced. Like 90% of them get let go.
Yeah.
So
go ahead.
Yeah, no. And it looks like the people who are the most protected from this are the blue collar types.
It's such a weird irony because always in the past, technology has gone for the blue collar jobs. It's always been, well, we can automate this and make it, we don't have to have so many laborers doing this. This time it's going for the intellectuals.
And the phrase that people used to say, in the, let's just say 10, 15 years ago was learn to code, right? Mm-hmm. And now AI is like writing code pretty damn well.
Yeah, you got guys sitting there basically what they call vibe coding now, where they're just like, oh, we'll do this. Oh, well, I like that. We'll take that and do this. And they're just telling the AI to do it and it's doing it and producing it. So it's, yeah, I think, you won't have to have as many doctor staff because they'll probably have AI reviewing charts. And yeah, this is a weird time. Weird time. I don't think we've ever seen anything like it before. And I don't know what it's going to do to the world, but
it's an interesting time to be alive. That's all I'm going to say.
I want to get your thought on something. I know we're kind of going a little bit long, especially because we're always supposed to be shorter episodes, but what is your thought on the digital ID in Europe right now?
What does that mean in the UK? Crap out of me. Yeah, it's in the UK, but yeah, that's pretty scary. The thing is I don't know if they're going to be able to pass it. I know that's what they were trying to do. I think that should be resisted at all costs, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, that's like the precursor to this central bank digital currency, all that kind of stuff. If you're getting tracked on everything you're doing, oh man. That just sounds like a dystopian type future.
Yeah. No, I completely agree. And I mean, they're saying that you have to have it in order to get paid. Like all kinds of crazy stuff. And with the crackdown of basically people's social posts in the UK, like just liking something apparently can get you visited by the police. I'm like, that is terrifying. They're supposed to be a bastion of freedom like we are. And it's just like, what is going on?
We saw something similar happen in Canada with the trucker protests, and then they started seizing people's banks that even donated to it.
Yeah.
I mean,
they can't censor Bitcoin. If you hold and secure your own Bitcoin, they can't censor that. Like, you are able to spend that. They can't stop it.
yeah.
You can interact with the network and transmit. So keep that in mind.
I think it really is our only safe haven potentially. So get it while you can.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, even if you can't get to one whole coin, because it's a pretty steep fee right now, but even try to get to 1/10 of a coin. That could be life-changing money for you still in the future.
Honestly, in the long future, I don't know, say another 15, 20 years, I mean, even having 0.01 Bitcoins is going to be huge.
Yeah. No, that's true. It's going to be nuts. Just make sure whenever you do that, make sure you can secure it. Don't do stupid stuff and lose it somehow or some way, shape, or form. On our website, you still have the deals tab where you can get your own hardware wallet. And that's at www.thebitbytepodcast.com/deals. And sign up for our newsletter, and you get your checklist basically for cold storage. It'll help kind of walk you through that, because we've talked about that before, where that can be kind of terrifying. And the first time you actually do it, don't move a huge amount of Bitcoin. Make it small, just to make sure that you've got your process down. So thank you all for listening, and we will talk to you soon.
Bye.